everybody, Diana here. Welcome into Build a Quilt and welcome to our video, which is block 12 of our 24 block challenge. That's right, guys. This week we are halfway through our 24 block challenge. So each of these blocks each week has a free download over at our website, and I'll give you that information at the end. Inside that free download, you get the information like color, how many of each segment piece that you need to make, all that kind of information. But to get your digital files for all of these blocks, so all of these blocks take the same group of digital files in that you need to have either our basic combo set in our 3, 4, and 5 inch, or what we call our standard sizes, 3, 4, and 5 inch. And just in case you don't know, I know a lot of you do, but you get the square, the half square triangle, and the quarter square triangle, and the flying geese unit, the split rail, and the diamond in a square. 3, 4, and 5 inch, and I think you get some bonus 2-inch segments in here as well. Or you can purchase our mini combo set, same 6 segments, but the sizes are way different. 1, 1.5, and 2 inches for those of you that love minis. Now, for those of you who are new but you've been doing a few of our free patterns and you're really liking the Build a Quilt process, I'll tell you what I've told all of our regular subscribers and folks that have been Build a Quilting for a while. Both of these sets together is like the library. It's like your go-to for hundreds, literally hundreds of quilts. A lot of our projects that we do here at Build a Quilt use these exact pieces in these exact sizes. We have some standalone patterns that have other types of segments in them, but you can make so much. And if you have both sets, then you can make a 3-inch segment, a 3-inch block using our 1-inch segments for here to interact with 3-inch blocks from this piece. So they all work together, and together you get literally double the amount that you can do. And right now, starting today at our website, we have a sale going on, kind of a pre-Black Friday sale, if you want to call it such. When you purchase our basic combo set, that's our traditionally standard sizes, 3, 4, and 5 inches. When you purchase this set at its regular price, you can purchase the mini set and it will be 50% off in your cart. So the price, the reduced price shows up in your cart, not on the product page. I just wanted to make sure that was clear for you. So if you looked at the project page and said, this doesn't look like it's on sale, once you add it to your cart, if this is already in there, then it will show up at that discounted price. This sale is going on through December 1st. So it's going on through Black Friday. If this is something you've been waiting for, and maybe you have it on your holiday wish list to Santa, let Santa know it's time. This is the best price that we're going to have on these 2 sets for this holiday season. So purchase the basic combo, get the mini combo at a reduced 50% off. Okay, what you get in these are all of these segment pieces in the sizes I mentioned, and you get the how-to videos, the written information, the information on how you cut and prep your fabric, everything that you need so that you can calculate out fabric amounts and stuff for projects that you're building on your own, building your own quilts, or if you have purchased a pattern from your local fabric shop and it uses these pieces, then you can calculate out fabric, all of that. You've got everything you need in these 2 sets. So that is our sale going on starting today. And it's, like I said, it's right over at our website. And so are the downloads for these 12 blocks at www.mybuildaquilt.com. So go ahead and head over there when the video is over, check those out. We also have some other free patterns over there, and then we have some of our standalone patterns that come with specific segments within them because they're not those, or they're a combination of different sizes than those are. Okay, so all of that is over at our website. Before you make any purchase, though, if you have any questions, just get a hold of me at support@sewuncommon.com, and I'll get right back with you and answer those, and make sure you have your questions ordered before you make that purchase. Okay, let's move on. So I thought we'd do a quick review of the 11 blocks that leads up to this week, which is our halfway point. That's right. I can't believe we're already halfway through there. I started looking at these and I'm like, have I designed all of these blocks? Have I put all these blocks together? It doesn't seem like we've been doing it 12 weeks to me. Maybe it does to you. So I'm going to do this. I know in last week's video, I talked more about them. And let me just say, if you want more detail about these blocks, excuse me, excuse me, frog in my throat. If you want more details about these blocks, join us on Wednesday night here on our YouTube channel, Build a Quilt, because we have Wednesday workshop live at 6 p.m. So it runs from 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And right now, one of the main things we're doing each week is we're introducing the new block, and we're giving you more information. You're seeing more mock-up sample photos, things like that. This video is to help you understand the layout and that sort of thing if you don't have time to join us, or if you forgot where to find that information on Wednesday workshop, on the lives, things like that. So we have a saying in our family, zip, zip, zoom. It means, come on, let's get a move on. Let's get this project done. Let's stop debating it. Let's stop messing around and let's get it done so we can move on to something else. You guys know that. I bet every family has that kind of a thing. So, you know, you start a project and then you ask a question, and everybody that's working on it has an opinion and an answer, and then it becomes a debate, and then it's an hour and a half later before you get your project done when it could have been 10 minutes. Well, if anybody in our family says zip, zip, zoom, that means, all right, no more debate, no more questions. Let's stop and let's get our project done. So I'm going to go through these zip, zip, zoom. I'm just going to tell you, show you the block and tell you the week, okay? Because I went over them more last week. All right, so week 1, I think this is still, though, the favorite of everybody. Week 1, week 2, week 3. Now, some of these blocks do have extra things that come with them in the free downloads, like last week's had a free quilt layout information. This week's has another quilt information in it as well. Week 4, week 5, this one had extra information in it. You'll have to take a look to see what that was. You can watch the Wednesday workshop to find that one. There's this one. That's week, what am I at? 6? Yes, week 6. This was week 7. This was week 8, week 9, week 10, and last week's week 11. Okay, and this one is the one last week that had a quilt design that came with it. This week's will as well. I'm just grabbing one of the blocks because I want to show it to you when I talk to you about pressing your seams here in a moment. So let me show you the block. Instead of showing you the cover, I'm going to show you the fuller picture that you get. This is the block for week 12. And I thought it turned out, I didn't actually plan it this way. It's a maple leaf. It's a leaf block. Now, it's a little bit different than some leaf blocks because traditionally your stem is made differently in a leaf block. Sometimes this is made differently too. There's lots of leaf blocks, like there's lots of heart blocks, and like there's there's something else where you can make it in several ways. There's lots of quilt blocks that you can make in different ways. So this is my version of a maple leaf, but we've done this in a square, one, because a square is one of our segment pieces, and these 24 blocks we're making only use the segments in those 2 sets that I showed you. Only those 6, okay? So once you have one of those 6 sets, you can make all 12. Depending on the size you want, can indicate which size you want, or if you want to mix it up and get both sets while they're on sale, you can do that too. Alrighty, so this is our maple leaf. Now down here you see it in the fabric. Well, I'm going to go ahead and flip over our camera, and we are going to lay this out, and you'll get to see it in the actual fabric. So let's flip the camera over. All right, so I have my segments made. There are only 9 pieces. These are all 24 of these are basically 9 patch blocks, 3 rows, 3 columns, 9 blocks. All of my samples are 9 by 9. So I am using the in the, let me grab the right set. In the standardized set, I am using the 3-inch segment pieces. So my whole blocks are turning out to be 9 by 9. If you have the mini set, the smallest block you can make is a 3 by 3. If you have that standard set, then the largest block you can make is 15 by 15 if you use the 5-inch segments. So I am going to let's see, I'm laying this out upside down. I need to turn my picture upside down. There we go. That, and then that one, and that one, and that one, and then that one, and that one, and that one. Now, how do I know how to lay that out and how to get those going in the right direction? Well, you have this photo, but the helpful part is, let me find the right page here. There we go. The helpful part is that you have your layout sheet. This sheet in the free download tells you about color, what you're making, what segments you're using. And here it shows you the full layout from the single segment blocks to the rows to the full-sized piece. And that is what you want to use, folks, when you're laying your block out to make sure that everything is going in the right direction. Now, with this week's block, we're only using 2 segments. We're using the square and the half square triangle. And you're only using 2 colors for the single block. You'll use more colors, same background, but more colors for the leaf if you end up making the quilt that's in here. We'll talk more about that in a moment. So let's kind of blow this out a little bit. So you can see there are your 9 blocks. That's how they'll look on that layout sheet for you. Now, you're going to work from the top down, work from the bottom up. It doesn't matter, but you're going to take and sew your 2 side blocks to your center block in each one of your rows. Now you have the 3 rows. That's the next step that you see on that layout sheet. So it goes from those single pieces into these 3 rows. Then the center row, you add this row to that center row and the bottom row to that center row. And that's the last thing you see on that page is the full block. Now, I want to talk to you briefly about how you're going to open your seams. At the end of this part of the video, there's a small segment piece to show you how to sew these together without using a 1/4 inch foot. In fact, please don't use a 1/4 inch foot because it will mess you up based on this system. This system has a, you can kind of see it here. It's on the back, but you can see it here. This stitch line right here. These stitch lines are on the back and they are used for you to stitch your pieces together. If you can follow that line, you're going to have the perfect seam each and every time. Okay. So this was block 7 in our challenge, but I'm going to turn it over because I want you to see the back of it. I want you to press your seams open. And I know to those of you that have quilted for a long time, like I have, opening seams is a little bit hard to do. It's like a taboo that you have to get over. I know. It took me a long time to realize that I could do this and it was okay. But there's a reason I can do this with a surety. And that is because when you stitch your pieces together, using that little video segment that's coming up, you're going to set the stitch length for your stitches at either 1.8 or 2.0. That gives you a not overly tight, but a nice secure seam where nothing like your batting and all is not going to start popping up through the seams, okay? And the other thing that opening your seams is really good for is that it allows you to have a really flat finished block. And for your finished quilting, that's exactly what you want. You want your blocks in your quilt to be as flat as they can. Whether you are free motion quilting, or you're using your embroidery machine and your hoop, or you're doing your own long arming, or you're sending it to a long armor, you want your blocks flat as they can be. So I bet most of you know this is a tailor's clapper. Tailor's clappers were not invented for quilting. They were invented for tailors. This one I started sewing when I was 7, and that's been a long time ago. These were used when you were either pressing, or when you were trying to form and press around something, especially with shirts and blouses and things like that. And so somebody decided, why not use these to set the seams on our quilts? It was a beautiful idea. Somebody, whoever thought of it, it was a great idea, because what a clapper will do is, you've got your iron on here, and when you pull it off, you've got heat here. Immediately lay your clapper there. The heat is absorbed by the wood, and the wood slowly returns that heat to the seam of your fabric, keeping it flat. It's not like a lot of heat all at once. It slowly returns it. Once you press this, I see a lot of people do this. Press that and done. That's not really the best way to use your clapper for setting your seams. What you want to do, press, don't rub, press, lift, lay your clapper on there and leave it. Count to at least 30 seconds. I actually like to leave mine on there a little bit longer. I like to leave it on there for a few minutes. However, I know that with this type of clapper, it's more difficult because it will only cover so much space, like one length of seam at a time. So it's harder to do it with this. But if that's what you have, that's fine. Now, this is my only pre-purchased one, my manufactured one. I have a lot of clappers that my husband has made me from offcuts of hardwood in his workshop, where they're just rectangles. They're a little bit longer than this one. They're rectangles. He smoothed off the edges, and that's what he used. No, don't use stain or anything on them. Leave them as the raw wood. And so you can do that. Make sure, though, that it is hardwood. Don't pine and stuff is a softwood. It will work. It just won't work quite as well. If you can get offcuts of maple, oak, hardwoods like that, like you can hear, that's really hard. Those work the best. Okay. However, about, I don't know, 6 weeks to 2 months ago, I found this product on Amazon. This is not a supported video by this product in any way. I found this on Amazon. It is a clapper, a block clapper from Riley Blake. And who better to make a clapper for quilters than quilters, right? Of course. So it's got the little Riley Blake bird, very cute, and it's all this information, but it's 8 by 10 inches. Look on my 9-inch block. Once it's sewn together, it's a 9-inch. If I lay this here, all except for a little bit right here, which I can do like a second time, but I can lay that on there, walk away for a few minutes, work on another block, do something else. And when I come back, I have the most beautiful flat block you'll ever see. This is the last clapper I think I'll ever need. It is, the handle's hardwood. This is hardwood. It's really, really well constructed. It's nice and smooth and flat on the bottom, no nicks or anything. And so don't let the kids play with this. They're going to end up getting it nicked up. This is for you, right? This is like your scissors. This is your tool. You don't let just anybody play with your tools. They need to be somebody who knows what they're doing with your tools, right? So it's perfect for these blocks. If you're doing smaller blocks, the 3 inches, you could get a couple of 3 inches under here. You could get a 6-inch under here, a 5-inch under here, a 7-inch under here, an 8-inch block under here. It's really perfect. And that's why I say, I don't think I'll ever need another clapper, but this is what's going to give you the flattest seams that you can get once you've pressed them open. Okay. All right. So that's our little tip on creating our pressing out our seams and creating our block. So that's our block, the maple leaf. But I want to show you that this week you are also getting another quilt pattern layout. And this one is different from last week. I call it the feathered crown, the feather crown. You get the whole sheet of information, what you need to make, colors, the finish size. Now let me show you a slide with a mock-up. That is the actual fabric that I used to make my block. And this one, I will tell you about the fabrics. All of the color fabrics you see in this quilt are by Lori Holt. It's her B cross stitch line where the background is in color and the crosses are creamy white. I think she has another part of her B cross stitch line where everything is that creamy white background and the crosses are in color. But these have, so I've used the red, I think the orange one is called Autumn. The golden one, I think is called Butterscotch. And then there is that green. And this quilt can end up being, and this information is on the page right before the one I just showed you in your, yeah, here we go. So on this page, it will tell you that if you're using our mini combo set and you're using the 1-inch segment pieces, the smallest full-size quilt you can make would be 12 by 12 inches. Okay. If you're using the 5-inch segment pieces from our standard size collection, you can make a quilt that is 60 by 60 inches. That's a great coverlet for a full size or a king size bed. It's a great blanket for a child's room. Like even a young child up to maybe like age 9 or 10 could probably fit under that. I know we have folks over that bring their small children and they fit easily under my 60 by 60 quilts. It's a great quilt for a large wall space. It's a great quilt to lay over the back of a sofa, whatever you want to do. It's a beautiful quilt to give as a gift. And size-wise just depends on what size segment you use from the segment sets, because every single piece in this is the same size, whether it's a half square, triangle, or a square, and that's all you're making for that entire quilt. Now, if you join us tonight at Wednesday workshop at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, that's when I introduce the block of the week for the 24 block challenge. Tonight, I'm going to have some other mock-ups showing you how you can do that quilt in less color and make it look a little bit different. So check that out. Join us tonight here on the YouTube channel, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we're here for roughly an hour, sometimes a little less, and you'll see this block all sewn together. And you'll see some more information on the quilt, plus a lot of other stuff that we have going on. All right, everybody, if you've been enjoying the 24 block challenge, let me ask you this. Would you like to see more like skill building blocks and things like that? Well, you might want to consider becoming a Build a Quilt channel member here on YouTube. We just started YouTube channel memberships a couple of months ago. They are something that YouTube allows us to do to allow our subscribers to have more access, more things, more videos, different subjects on quilting and all in those. But we're about to really up the ante on our memberships starting in January. So if you like these skill building kind of things and these quilts that aren't overly difficult, that you can get done relatively quick and have beautiful quilts for your home and as gifts, you might want to consider clicking the join button and joining our membership. And then when you do, it'll give you a little video about what membership is about now. But the week of Thanksgiving, we're going to be announcing some new things. And one of them is how channel memberships is going to change. And I think you're going to love it. Okay. All right, everybody. That's everything for this week's block challenge, block 12. We're halfway done now. So if you need to contact me, please do so at support@sewincommon.com. I get back to you right away, unless I'm sleeping. If you are looking for the download or our sets, and don't forget, our sets are on sale. Buy the standard combo set, get the mini set at half off from now until December 1st at our website, mybuildaquilt.com. All right, everybody, it has been great to be with you today. Remember, as quilters, we are artists and we make the world a more beautiful place. So let's all go out and quilt life beautiful. Bye for now, everyone.
Hi everybody, so this is Diana and I'm here at my sewing machine to show you how to sew your pieces together without getting that stitch line to show. Now you can see here I just have two little half square triangles. I've used the pin method up here at the point to make sure they're lined up, and I just have one clip here. Now what I do first is when I put this in my machine, I get my needle right to where the line would be, right on that stitch line, okay? Then I come over to my machine's tools and I take my width down by 1, and that's all. Now I'm going to put it back up, and I'm going to take you back over to here and let you see that. Okay, so watch the needle, how that moves. I'm going to move it now. See how it just moved one place to the inside, or I guess as you're looking at it, it would be to the left. That would be to the inside. Now I'm going to place my needle down, and I can go ahead and remove my clip because this is a small piece, and I can sew right down. And I have my stitch length at 1.8, and you can see now that I've already done a few stitches, it is still right one click in. It's not directly on top of it, and so I should, when I'm done, be able to finish and not have that black line sewn, and you just follow it all the way down. Now I'm going to cut my thread and bring it out, and I will open this up and bring it right back over so you can see it. So there it is, opened up. Now you might see a little of the black in this case because I used that marker, but when I'm just going to open up my seam in the back and hold it open for you. But you can see when I hold it open, that's just a little piece of thread that I can pull out of there. That's gone. And now you don't see it at all. You don't see any of the black thread, which I used for demonstration purposes, but you don't see any of my original embroidery thread from making the patchwork itself. And that is just by moving that needle one space and one space only. And again, I always stitch these with a 1.8 or a 2.0 stitch length so that it really holds these together when you go and open them up. And when I open it up here, you can see the line all the way down on both sides, and that's what you should be able to do. So I hope that you found that helpful. That was a great question. Thank you so much for asking that. And now we'll move on with the rest of the Q&A for today.